So boundaries. Who's the guardian of your boundaries? Let's talk about that. Hey guys, Randy here with The Living Adventure. Yeah, I've been getting lots of phone calls and messages and some exciting stuff happening. And one of the things that's surfacing is a lot of people are asking me about boundaries. It seems boundaries is a real hot topic. And it is. I mean, holding and maintaining boundaries is a challenge for a lot of people, but creating boundaries is also a challenge. Like, how do I create boundaries within myself? And I think the one thing that we need to really look at is, what is a boundary? A boundary is not a wall in front of you. It's a perimeter that circles around you. It's your guide to self-protection. You create it internally. What are you comfortable doing or not doing? Where's that created from? That's created from, one, experiences that you've had in the past, the memories of those experiences, and those are different. The experiences and the memories of those experiences are different. And the belief structures that are derived from those memories and those experiences. So they're like a building block to our boundaries. But there's a guardian that, once you've established a makeshift boundary, if you will, you're not really sure if it's a solid boundary or a confident boundary, but it's something that you either feel comfortable with or you don't feel comfortable with, or you're somewhere in between. And that guardian that protects that boundary or stands guard of that boundary is called fear. And so you hold a level of fear. And what I mean by that is, let's just say you've established a boundary, and that boundary is heights. For some reason, you just don't like heights. Whatever that boundary, however that boundary was created, past experience or an internal belief structure, fear is the one that keeps you from overcoming that. It's like, hey, hang on a second, this is my boundary, and you can feel it when you're putting your foot over the edge onto a ladder, and it's like, oh, it's an uncomfortable feeling. It just radiates through your body. So understand that fear is your guardian to all your boundaries. And if your boundaries are not solid, then that feeling of fear is going to be less. You're going to be questioning it. You're going to be like, well, I'm not too sure. I'm uncertain. Maybe I'll try it. Maybe I won't try it. And that's actually a healthy thing. Sometimes that feeling of fear is a false representation of a memory or an experience we had in the past, and it prevents us from growing. And if we establish this perimeter of boundary around us that prevents us from growing and learning and experiencing more in life, then that's not a good thing either. And so establishing a healthy boundary, and understanding that, hey, this is what I'm okay with, and this is what I'm not okay with, without having fear as the guardian. Have fear stand by and protect you, ready on the mark, but don't let fear stop you in your tracks from exploring that boundary. Instead, it's confidence. I feel confident in the memory or the experiences that I have, the education that I achieved from those experiences, to say no. I know what's going to happen, or I know that this is not a good thing for me, and therefore my boundary is here. But I also encourage you to leave a little crack in that boundary to say, well, tell me more. Maybe I'm interested, maybe I'm not. Maybe this is an opportunity for growth, and I'm interested in growing. I want to develop myself. I want to become more than I am. And so I'm not going to hold a solid boundary. I'm going to hold a boundary that allows information to pass through to a certain level, and not allow you just to blindly lead me into something that I don't want to be led into. And so highly sensitive people, again, our sensation of emotions, the senses that we have that trigger these emotional states, is elevated. It's a higher sense. So that feeling of fear, that feeling of guilt, that feeling of cautiousness, those alarms that go off in our head are going to be elevated. And all the more reason that we get control of them and put them off to the side. Don't let your emotions run your life. You run your life. Use your emotions to manage your well-being, and that's it. So boundary setting is important. You need to establish boundaries, but you also need to understand that they can be a good thing and a bad thing. If you allow fear to guard your boundaries, preventing you from growing, then you're not going to grow. You're not going to gain. You're not going to elevate yourself to a higher level of consciousness and a higher level of being. You're going to become stagnant, and that's not good. Highly sensitive people are ripe for growth. We're ripe for expanding. We're knowledgeable people, and we need to get a hold of that fear and say, listen, you're not going to run my life. I'm going to run my life, and I'll call upon you when I need you. Anyway, guys, I hope this one helps. Have a great day, and thanks for following along. Cheers.